Hello, welcome to PUTINWORKTV. We've enjoyed watching your journey as an artist/creator in the New England hip hop, rap, and art scene. Our focus here at PUTINWORKTV is allowing our guests to tell their stories without judgment, front and center. We like it raw and uncut. At PUTINWORKTV, you end up saying shit you never expected to say. So, strap in for a great interview. And I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy you came to Put in Work at Put in Work Studios. So my first question is, what's your name? What do you do? And how did it all begin?
Okay. Well,
in that order, if you remember.
In that order, okay. So I'm AytchPee. What was the second question?
What do you do?
What do I do? I'm a producer. I produce. And where it started, I started producing when I was like 15, 16. I started off just doing stuff for myself, just for fun. I've always been like a person who was sampling, and I was always a musical person. I grew up playing instruments and all that kind of stuff. So producing was kind of like the next step for me in terms of just being musical. 15, 16, I just started sampling stuff that I had heard on the radio or from my mom's collection of music. That she's a musician too, so all that stuff. She got a lot of stuff.
What type of collection of music? We talking about R&B, jazz? We talking about funk?
Everything, bro. Jazz, R&B, classical, soul. She's a musician, so she played the piano. She played everything. She used to direct the church choir, like all that stuff. So
she was real involved.
Real involved, and she put that on me and my brother. So it's like by the time that I got older, like I was really able to figure out what I wanted to do for myself musically. And when I was in high school, I was doing band and doing all this other stuff. I was playing the drums, so music has always been a part of my life. So by the time I hit 15, 16, it was really like, how am I going to personify that for myself? Like, how am I going to make it more of a connection for me in the way that I was surrounded by this shit, you feel me? So, yeah, so I started 15, 16, but I was really doing it for me. I was really just doing it because it's what I enjoy. I never really thought about showing with other people or showing it to my peers or anything like that. So, fast forward to by the time I get to college, I'm meeting people, I'm meeting other people who make music, and I start showing them my beats. People tell me it's tough. I connected with my good friend to this day. His name is Yao. He's a rapper. Me and him got a bunch of stuff when he was in college, and then till now we have a bunch of stuff. So meeting him really pushed me to be able to give beats out to people. And then fast forward to now, I'm just in the scene, just giving out beats, networking, um, still producing. So yeah, by now it's just like I'm just full time in this. So
You've taken it as your passion, and you stand up for what you believe in right now.
absolutely.
So what's your background? Where was it like growing up where you from? Where are you from? And you mentioned you had a brother, so just explain that a little bit.
For sure, yeah. So I spent most of my time living outside of Worcester in this suburb called Shrewsbury, super white. I was really kind of doing my thing with my mom and my brother living there. We had gone there because my mom wanted me to have a good education at a public school, and they have great schools there. So I spent a lot of time, or I spent a good chunk of my childhood living there. Um, and yeah, it was me and my brother that I grew up with, and my brother's also a very musical person. He's also a producer.
Is he your younger or older brother?
Younger than me, but he's nice. He's also a very good producer. Um, he in school right now too, but yeah, me and him we're surrounded by the influences of our mother who was musical, and that really got passed down onto us. So yeah, he's also a really good producer.
Most definitely. And so, how did music alter or impact your life? Like, was it the catalyst to propelling you to become who you are as a man today? Was it the thing that sparked your creativity and the ability to use your mind and because you mentioned earlier before the interview that a producer is an artist of sorts. He creates his own sound. So how did it alter your life to the point where you wanted that to be the primary thing on your brain is to create and construct a sound, a place for an artist to come in and do what he does and express?
Hmm. That's a good question. I mean, I feel like by the time I turned like I was still in school. Like I'd always been making beats on the low, on some personal, just like some therapeutic, or on some let me try something, let me sample something that I thought was cool, kind of experimenting. But by the time I turned like 2021, I had another friend that I was at school with named Gil, and he was more involved in the scene than me. And he's also a really dope producer. I still work with him a lot to this day. But I was inspired by him, the way that he moved and the way that he was able to connect with people that had similar interests as him. That definitely inspired me to be like, all right, like I know our beats are tough. Like let me go take it to another level. Like, and on top of that, like the idea of kind of living like the 9 to 5, kind of being like in that like mind state, I didn't want that to just be it. Like I knew that music was very important to me, and I knew that music had gotten me through a lot, and I knew that I was talented, and I was like, not everyone has those gifts, and it's like I started thinking it'd be a shame to not be able to use those gifts, and kind of like take it as far as I can go. I feel like I have a lot of regret if I didn't do that, and that made me be like, all right, bro, like lock in, do what you got to do, move to Boston, X Y Z, do what you got to do to make sure that you're hitting your maximum potential and you're not wasting anything. Because I realized I had gifts.
So where were you moving from? You said move to Boston. Where were you previously?
So I was at school. I went to school at UMass Amherst, and I have been living out there the last 2 years. I lived off campus, so I lived in an apartment, and I had moved from once I graduated from there. I moved from there to Boston, and yeah, so I spent the last 2 years in Amherst, and I've been making a lot of trips to Boston, like back and forth and stuff, but that's where I was for most of the time, over like quarantine too, all that. So
what was your creative process, and how did you find it out? Like, were you at college and you know you used your laptop or GarageBand and you played it in the room and people were like, yo, what the fuck, AytchPee, this shit is tough.
Something like that,
like describe the first experience when somebody said something like that to you.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I really like I had been in moments where it was like I had some beats on my phone or whatever, and we talk about music, and I'd be like, yo, like you like this song? Or well, I sampled this like 2 years ago. Like, let me just show you what it was. And someone would be like, yo, like that was you? And I'd be like, yeah. And they'd be like, bro, like you're not gonna do nothing with that. You're not gonna sell that to nobody. You're not gonna put that on YouTube. You're not gonna put that on SoundCloud. And I was like, I mean, it's just some shit I had on me since I was like 17. You feel me? So I started hearing that more and more and more and more. And like I kind of said earlier, like I met my friend. I'd already been friends with my friend Yao. And to be specific, there was this one time this nigga posted a freestyle.
Over your beat?
Nah, it wasn't over my beat. It was a beat that I liked a lot. It was Selfish by it's by Kanye West and Slum Village. And he posted that freestyle, and I was like, bro, you rap? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, bro, like I have beats. Like, let me just send you something real quick. And I sent him like 10 beats, and he's like, I'm rocking with these. And he still has those to this day, and we still have a bunch of unreleased joints. But like that's really where it started. It was just like I found out he rapped nice. He found out I produced nice, and I was like, all right, bro, like let's figure something out.
What'd you learn from that? Like, what'd you learn about yourself?
Definitely made me be like, okay, like maybe I'm onto something. Like maybe I'm not just like playing around with this. Like maybe I could be something a little bit. If I push myself, maybe I can be something like make something out of this, and not just have it be like untapped potential. Like I feel like the idea of not tapping into who you really could be, like the potential of who you could be, is such a waste, and it's so sad. Like I don't want to live like that. Like I want to go hard. If anything I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go hard for it. You know.
So it's going back to that not wanting to feel a sense of regret, of shame, knowing that you didn't put your all out on the table when you had the chance.
Exactly.
So that's and that actually answers one of my questions. I was going to ask you what's your biggest motivator, but it seems that's the one right there.
That's definitely one of them. I think that's something that really drives me. I think that and the idea that you know, that there's so many other people that I could tap into too that are also super talented, and that maybe I could be the person that gives them a little boost to get to where they need to be too. Like I could meet a rapper that maybe he don't know what he's doing yet, and it's like maybe he heard some of my stuff, and it's like, all right, he's gonna be like, let me take it to another level. So it's like, you know, it goes both ways.
Okay, so giving an artist like not a platform, but almost like an alley-oop. Because if you get on this beat, now people will really realize what you can do, you know, and the other ones were flukes or they just weren't seeing the vision. I think that's honorable. What do you enjoy the most, you know? Like, where can you go with producing? Everyone has a zone they tap into. When a basketball player is hot, you know, after the game when he scored 47, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, they'll often tell you they don't remember what happened. You know, they were just they just blacked out. The only thing that mattered was the game. They didn't see any fans. They didn't hear any screams. When they're at the free throw line, all they see is the rim and remember their technique. You know, so what place do you go to? You know, like what do you enjoy the most about producing?
It's funny you put it that way because I definitely feel like it's the same way. It doesn't click like that for me all the time, but like a lot of the time it do feel like that. Like I can open up my laptop and I'll hear a sample or I'll have an idea in my head and it's like I know exactly what to do without even saying it. And it's like I couldn't even put into words exactly what that feeling is like, but it's like I'd be like, if I'm in the room with other niggas, I'd be like, yo, shut up. Like, I know what I need to do. Like, like, don't play. Like, I know exactly what I need to do. I just need to lock in for like 15 minutes, and I can just get this done exactly the way it needs to get done. So
How do you know you're in that state of mind? You're in the zone.
I don't even know how to tell you. Sometimes I think it's God. Like, feel me? Like, I feel like it's something, and I read this from a lot of other producers too. It's like it's something that's not from this earth. It's something that like the way that you get inspired is not anything that's natural. Or I mean, it is natural, but not anything that's like man-made. It's
It
like
can be described as normal.
exactly, yeah, exactly. It's like some
Supernatural, spiritual
yeah.
experience.
I really believe it. Like I really think like that kind of inspiration has to come from something higher. Like you like the way that it becomes like verbalized and becomes real is not just you. Like you're kind of a vessel, kind of the way I see it. It's like you're just the machine doing the movements, but it's like that inspiration come from something else. Like
So
yeah,
almost like something comes through you, a higher consciousness gives you the ability to act out in a way where
a little bit.
you're producing the.
Exactly. And I realize too, it's like sometimes like I can open up my laptop and it's like I think I have it going and I don't. And then sometimes I can just be chilling and I don't think there's nothing going on and then boom, inspiration clicks like it's like a flood. Like everything just come right out. So it's like I think that kind of thing is just like it can't just be me. You know what I'm saying?
Most
Like
definitely.
I think it comes from something else. Like
What are three things, if you could name them,
okay.
the three things you wish you would have known before you started producing? At 22 now, you're like, yo, if my 17-year-old AytchPee knew this,
Yeah.
he'd be on top of the world.
Yeah. I think I think for starters, I think I definitely needed to be less shy about or less low key about what I was doing because I've been doing this since I was 15, 16, and I didn't really start showing people my stuff until I was like 19, 20. And I think that maybe if I had started earlier, I could have got more criticism earlier, and I would have pushed me a little bit farther, and I would have made me a little bit more. I would have made me sharper earlier instead of like getting sharper later. Because the earlier you can get sharper, like you can only get sharper. You know what I'm saying? So I guess part of it is just really just like I wish I had just been a little bit more vulnerable with my music earlier, so I could just have the experience to know, okay, I need to move in this direction in the future. I need to move in this direction in the future. And I feel like, yeah, like just being a little bit more or a little bit less low key. How about that?
Okay, that's number one. Number two?
Oh, I got you three.
Yeah, you can't get out quick.
Yeah, no, okay. So another piece of advice I would say, I would probably try to meet other people earlier too.
So
So
networking.
networking would be a big thing too. I mean, when I was younger, I definitely wasn't in the same position I am now to be around so many dope artists and so many other people that are willing to work. But I think if I had like gone a little bit out the way to just kind of meet people, maybe more in my area, or meet people that I also knew were musical that could have been on the same timing earlier, would have been helping me. So
So you were more like introverted. You didn't really want to.
yeah, and it's like the other part of it too. It's like you don't want to hear, you don't want someone to hear your stuff and they're like, yo, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you, this is ass. It's like obviously like sometimes you need to hear that, but
But
it's
you
like
almost ran away from the criticism.
yeah,
I
it's
feel
like
you.
you know
That's a
what I'm saying?
natural
You
reaction.
know what I'm saying? So it's like to me, it's like I feel like the sound that I was into when I was like 15, 16, I was really like insecure about it because I was like, yo, like it's not super mainstream, it's not super popular, but I know that it sounds cool. But it's like I don't know if I show it to other people, they're gonna rock with me.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I was just like,
You know,
yeah, let me just make this for me. Let me just be on the low. Let me just keep these beats to myself and just let me play them for myself because I like the way they sound. So it's like that.
I think the only remedy for that is to not put as much trust and faith in them. Because almost like, let's
That's
keep it a
another
buck.
lesson I learned too.
If I
Yeah.
send you a song, it's almost like I'm expecting you to like it because I think it was good enough to even send it to you.
For real.
So if you respond to me with anything other than what is to be expected in my head, it's gonna be. But people who know how not to take it personal, sometimes this is why you need to send it to the right people. Actually, when you send them whatever it is, a beat, a song, you've got to send it to somebody, one, who's on the same timing with music, they can understand it, and number two, to give you constructive criticism. because that's how you know they listened to the song and gave a fuck,
Mm-hmm.
because they told you what was wrong with it and how you can do better.
Mm-hmm.
Now they can say it's trash, but they'll say it's trash in a different way.
For real. And
Those
so
who,
that's gonna help you actually.
you see what I'm saying, and then you'll respect it more. You're like, okay, I can think about that,
Mm-hmm.
and if I implement it, it's better. You're right,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So what is the hardest part about your journey as a producer? What's a struggle or a challenge that producers face that most people don't know about, nor do they value as a burden?
Okay. I'm trying to think of a good one. I mean, I feel like every producer struggles with a lot of the same problems, but at least for me, I think a big thing too is like I can easily get discouraged in the sense like maybe I made 5 hot beats in a row and then I make one stinker and I'm like, yo, do I really make good beats? Like I'm like, there's all these trash type, and it's like it feels so silly to say out loud, but it's like it can really be in a sense where it's like you actually had time to work on something today, you try to open something up and it's like nothing's flowing, like nothing sounds like anything you want it to sound like, and that makes you feel like, yo, like, do I really do this? You know what I'm saying? It's like, am I really cut for this? And it's like, yeah, like, I'm realizing at least now that I'm older, like, you gotta take everything day by day. Like, you can't put the weight, all your problems, or you can't look at everything so, like, one track mindedly. Like, you have to be like, all right, like, maybe I didn't make a good beat today, but yesterday I did this, or yesterday I did another sample, or I found something cool, and it's like, you gotta take every win as they come, you gotta take the losses light, kind of thing. So it's like, you gotta appreciate what you actually have done, and, like, the course that you're going on, instead of just looking at it like, all right, damn, like, I suck today, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, just being kind to yourself, taking it, like, easy, like, take it day by day.
Most def. That sounds like sound advice. You know, what are some things that people don't know producers do on a daily basis?
Okay, producers, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I think producers uh, get distracted easily. I think for me, like, sometimes when I hear an idea that I think is cool, my mind goes like 50 different places at once, and I really have to slow down and be like, all right, like, let me start by opening up my program and making sure that I have the right sounds I want to use and I have the right instruments, blah blah blah, instead of like doing 50 different tasks at once. Like, I feel like you got to be thorough and deliberate. Um, I'm trying to think what else. What else producers? You said producers do every day.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta send out beats like every day. I be sucking at that. I be forgetting to send people stuff all the time.
But are you sending them like you had a previous arrangement that you were gonna send them beats and that they were gonna?
And it'll be like, bro, be like, yo, like, I like the beat you played me. Can you send it to me on my email or text it to me, whatever? And I'll be like, well, like, I kind of want to change one more thing. So before I send it to you, let me change that. And then while I'm trying to think of when I'm gonna send it to him, like, I actually forget to send it to him in the first place. And it's like small stuff like that. Like, you gotta just kind of gotta be on top of your stuff, be consistent, be communicative. So yeah, like, just things like that.
What are the components of a great song? Like, I'm talking about, you know, sometimes you hear a song and the artist isn't there and your face scrunches up, your head, you get inside of a trance where you only hear the beat. It's carrying you, it's uplifting your, that's uplifting your spirit. That's a producer. So when you get into a trance like that, you know, like, what are the key components to get somebody so entranced in the music, right, that they feel like that's the only thing that's going on at the present moment, you know, because whatever the beat is, whatever the rhythm is, it's so smooth it speaks to them, you know, they just travel, they go somewhere else. So what are the key components?
How you get there?
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I was with my dog yesterday and he was playing me this beat that was crazy, and I literally would have one of them faces. I was like, bro, I told him, like, bro, this is a beat that I wish that I made. I was like, I don't know how the hell you made this. It's my dog's soul. But yeah, I think simplicity goes a long way. I think really deliberate and simplicity takes you places that you never, unless your imagination allows you to wander.
Describe that.
So I think in the sense, like, at least when you have a beat that you want a rapper to be on, you don't want to do too much in the beat that it's taking away from where a rapper can find their pocket in it. Like, you don't want to do too much in the sense that it's like the rapper wouldn't be able to know how to attack it. And, you know, sometimes I make beats for the sense of people are gonna rap on them and sing on them, whatever. But I sometimes make beats just to have instrumentals. But In terms of making beats for rappers, I think like, and a lot of times less is more. Like keeping it simple, keeping it catchy, keeping it very deliberate with the sounds you're choosing, the sound effects that you're putting into it. Like you're not just throwing stuff out the wall trying to see what sticks. Like you're very deliberate in the sense like you know exactly what this sound is gonna do when it's placed here and what it's gonna feel like when you place it here, or you use this snare, or you use this kick. Like I think being deliberate is very important, but also not doing too much to the point that you're kind of just throwing stuff because you want it to just sound crazy. Like you gotta just be very deliberate.
What does your discography look like? If somebody wants to see what AytchPee is made of, or what lane he likes to produce, where are they going? You know what I mean? Like, are they going to a vibey place? Are they going to smooth? Are they smoking and chilling? You know, is this something they'd play laying up with their girl or in the car with their moms? Like,
Yeah,
what does it look like?
I want to be all that. I think right now where I'm at with my discography is definitely a little bit more one-sided, but I think the stuff I have in my vault once it comes out will show people like, all right, like he's not just one particular way. But at least right now, I'm definitely the vibe is definitely like you in your car, you with your dog, you smoking, you're studying at the library. You need something to listen to in the background right now. Um, at least for the stuff that I have, that's just instrumental stuff. For the stuff that's like I have with other artists, it's definitely more like boom bappy, introspective. A lot of stuff that kind of I don't know. I feel like it's allows you to think. It's not just kind of stuff that you kind of just
Play for no reason.
yeah, like it gives you a moment of clarity to breathe. It allows you a moment to think. Um, the rappers that I work with are they're really talented with their lyrics. So you know the beats and the lyrics go really well together. That allow you to be introspective, be to reflect on yourself, to be able to you know just think a little bit outside the box. So I like that. I always like that kind of stuff. And you know my sound is really jazzy, really soulful, uh, really sample heavy. But you know, I like the trap stuff too. For me, like I be making my trap music too. I be making my R&B bag too. So I'm kind of all over the place. But at least the stuff that I have out right now, is mostly in the lane of like introspective boom bap for me. So
And what do you try to give your audience with your music? Are you trying to relieve them from something? Do you want them to feel how you were feeling when you made the beat? Do you want them to travel to a different place and be able to imagine something different, knowing how the rapper is going to come on it, knowing how you made the beat, you know, geared to how the both of your styles can mesh? What are you trying to give them?
um, I think I want to give them an artist that they can relate to, wherever, whatever that means. Like, I think my favorite artists are the people that I can relate to, and I find myself a little bit in them. So I'm hoping that people that listen to me can find a little bit of themselves in me, and I can find a little bit of myself in them. And I like being able to build a connection and be able to make sounds that make you feel something, make you feel like, oh, I miss my mom, so like, oh, I love my girl, like, oh, I hate my best friend, like any of those feelings. Like, I want you to be able to be like, all right, AytchPee gets it. You feel me? Like AytchPee kind of like been through that, so once you hear this, that's a little bit of relief. It's a little bit like of a connection.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What is a put in work moment you've had? And I'm talking about put in work moment could be a moment where you overcame a challenge, where you dropped 10 beats at one time, or maybe when you walk into a room and you played a beat and everybody asked you to replay it, or everyone was frozen in shock. They didn't know how fire you had something in the vault. What's a put in work moment? And I want you to label it as a put in work moment. That's a segment of the show where we're just trying to showcase, you know, the grit of all these creatives around. Like, what's one time you pushed, you know, you played to your edge?
I'm trying to think. I mean,
Put in work moment.
yeah. I mean, when I wasn't living in Boston, and I'd come out to Boston, I'd be sleeping on couches. Like for me, like I would have to do these crazy drives from all the way from Western Mass to Eastern Mass,
How come?
just so I could be in the studio and be with the people that I'm trying to build with in the future and try to connect with. So I got
Sacrificing time, gas.
yeah, gas, money, bro, like all that, bro. And it's like there's a lot of times even in the middle of that journey, I'm like, yo, like is this really like worth it? Cause you know I was a student, bro. I had to pay bills. I had to pay my school bills. I had to pay my rent. I had to pay my car insurance, whatever. I'm still in school, so money's not coming by like that for me. So me being like, all right, I'm gonna take this weekend and I'm just gonna drive up all the way to Boston. I don't got no bed to sleep on. I'm gonna sleep on this couch, and I'm gonna link up with my man so we can have this whole weekend to really at least build something for the future.
Mm-hmm.
And boom, fast forward to now, I actually live in Boston, and the people that I was working with then, that I was trying to build with, I'm really locked in with them now, and it's like I'm consistent with them. Like now, I'm in the studio 3 times a week. I have people come over to my crib now and sleep over at my crib, so we can continue doing the work. And it's like it just come full circle. So being able to go from kind of being a place where I was kind of like struggling a little bit, trying to handle my school stuff, to being in a place where it's like, all right, I can really dedicate my time and even bless other people with the ability to stay over at my place and just lock in on some music stuff is great.
So in 5 years, I like to ask this question a little bit different. I like to say, what do you see yourself becoming in 5 years? Because you can see yourself somewhere and not work towards it as hard as you would have liked. And some people can see 5 years ahead and really manifest it into their reality. So it's like, what do you want to, like, what does AytchPee want to see for himself?
Well, in 5 years, I would love to be able to be like a producer in this Boston team. I think there's so many people that are in Boston that are super talented. I would want to be a person that's like renowned in the scene for like being able to have a good work ethic and being able to have quality production. And you know, a lot of people is rocking with my beats. I want to be able in 5 years to be a better musician. Like I want to be able to um, just get better. Like I have a really big obsession with not being satisfied with where I'm at with my abilities. 'Cause I think I'm good, but it's like you can only get better, and it's like that comes with time. So in 5 years, I'm hoping I become a better musician overall, better producer overall. I've networked with a lot of the people in Boston that I think are really making moves. Um, I want to be. I'm trying to think what else. I do have a lot of goals. Like I want to be able to be on trips. Like I can be in LA on some like this producer or there's people out there that I want to network with, or people in New York, people in Atlanta, and it's like I can be on these trips. Like people want to work with me, kind of thing. So
And the New England scene, that's my last question for you. In 5 years?
the New England scene, I just want to be like. I just want to be known for having quality production and having quality artistry. Like people don't think I'm just like playing around with this. Like people are like, oh no, like AytchPee, like yeah, I heard the record he did for so and so, and he did so and so, and he did this commercial, and he did this movie score or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever it comes musically, like I just want to have my respect too. Like I want to be able people to be like, all right, bro, like you got that, and I want to be able to put on for New England and Boston and everybody that's here too to kind of give everyone that is an artist around here. Like I hope we just all come up together. Like there's a lot of other artists in Boston that I think are like that. So I'm hoping that I can be one of them that kind of brings some attention and some praise to the scene.
Definitely, bro. AytchPee, personally, I think you're a man of purpose, and I think we had a great interview. I want to say thank you for coming to PUTINWORK Studios. Thank you for coming and putting the time. We appreciate you, bro. Like, I'm going to watch your growth. I'm going to stay tapped in with you, and the people get to know you a little bit better now, and they can reference this, you know, and go check out your beats and see what you're going to do. So, yeah, bro, you came in, you showed out. That's love. Oh.
No, I got great.
That's
Appreciate
love.
it, bro. Appreciate putting work for letting me come.
And we appreciate you for actually coming